Bubba effect is what the Pentagon trains for, not to fight Al-Qaeda. In Tennessee or Texas or North Carolina is in the Pentagon drills. It's been in Forbes magazine to take on gun owners. If we don't turn our guns in, it's terrorist, and they have to come crush us. But then meanwhile, it could be the Bubba effect where you get a bunch of mainly white cops in a southern area like Missouri. And then you got a bunch of thugs running around burning stuff because the cops might have or might not have done something wrong. And then the cops get brutal on peaceful people, and then that triggers an event. Cops shoot a bunch of people like a new Kent State, it's over. Because you have a federal government that is going to race bait under Obama, and this could be the false flag. They could use a crisis like this to absolutely burn the country down. So I just want cooler heads to prevail and to not have the police be provocative, aiming lasers at peaceful people, 75, 80 meters away with their hands up. I mean, I would get mad if I was there covering something and a laser was on me. I mean, it's just a joke. It's so sick. Mac, flesh out your point about the Bubba effect. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I do a small show on Saturday nights at theweekendconspiracy.com, and we've come up with a second piece of this that we think is very important, and I think it's the New World Order system of problem, reaction, solution, but I think there's going to be two solutions. I think the second solution, particularly with this Ferguson thing, there's a lot of armchair patriots, people out there. They're going to actually ask for more of this militarized police.
Oh, yeah, I've always said that. As society breaks down, you'll need the military and martial law. Not that it's good. The collapse is staged, but still the collapse is real. The troops are in a rock and a hard place, and you'll need them to keep the power plant running.
Yes. And last point, Alex, one of the things I've talked to a lot of people here recently on the show, and we've interviewed a bunch of people who are involved with satanic ritual abuse, and if that's as prolific as I think it is, and our government, and they're behind some of this, I'm afraid there's no hope for this country.
Well, we do have incredible numbers of really sick pedophiles, and I don't mean people dating 17-year-old girls. I mean 3-year-old babies just are filling the Democratic and Republican Party. And people go, why are there so many in the Catholic Church, you name it? Because one of them gets in, they recruit more in, like Penn State or whatever. And so, yeah, I mean, this country is run by absolute, just filthy scum. And they've got a bunch of well-meaning people beneath them who don't know about it, enforcing this whole police state in the name of safety. And all you're doing is securing a panopticonic technocracy of total surveillance to suppress good people. Matthew in Alabama, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to make a few statements about the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, you bet. We're not screening calls. You're live on air right now.
I would also like to give you a quick history lesson about...
Go ahead. Start giving me the history lesson. Go ahead.
It's about the 1776, the year that you like to talk about. It's about the Revolutionary War, more specifically the reasons behind it. In a lot of schools all over the country these days, and for a long time now, we were told it was because of the taxes, correct? The P-tax,
yes,
tax, all that stuff. But I'm here to say that that is, for the most part, incorrect. The reason behind the Revolutionary War, King George III actually made illegal our colonial scripts.
Oh, I know.
So,
yeah, we revolted over taxes. The French got manipulated by a group of criminals to overthrow one system and put in another tyranny. We're one of the only truly successful revolutions in history that didn't make things worse. And that's why so much of world future events will be decided about what happens here now. Right now, let's race through your calls. Matthew, what was your other point you wanted to make? Go ahead, from Alabama.
Yes. First, I want to make a statement about the Federal Reserve. We all know it was founded on the 24th of December in 1913, which that by itself is a major indicator of deception there. I mean, Congress clearly distracted by Christmas, ramming this through. It's totally absurd. But I have two questions I have for you, and let me ask them both before you answer. The first one is, who is the first director of the Federal Reserve who was put in charge of organizing the finances for World War I. And my second question was, who was the principal shareholder of the Reichstag Bank during the same period, but in charge of organizing the finances of the German side in World War I?
All right, well, let me answer that question now. That was Tammy Terrell, not Diana Ross. Their voices are very similar, but she did re-record it later, and it sounded just the same. I think I like Tammy Terrell's voice even more. But to go back and answer your question, I know Edward Mandell House was instrumental of House Park from Austin, British intelligence, in getting it basically written and put through. And I know, who was at the Jekyll Island meeting months before in Jekyll Island, Georgia, but I don't remember the other one. And then I've forgotten the other question, so I can't sit here all day. Why don't you just enlighten us?
Well, the first director of the Federal Reserve was a Mr. Paul Warburg.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's right.
And ironically enough, the principal shareholder of the Reichstag Bank in Germany during World War I was Max Warburg.
Sure, and the Bush Sr.'s dad, Prescott Bush, ran the U.S. division of that. A lot of the Nazi money went to them. That's why they're secretly one of the richest families in North America. And, boy, they get really freaked out when that information gets out. Very interesting. Thanks for reminding me about that, Matthew. Let's go to Colton in Florida. I got a cousin named Colton. Colton, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, Alex. How you doing, man?
Good, bro.
I just wanted to bring up a couple points. I got a lot I'd want to say to you, but honestly, I'll just keep it to what I decided I'd say. You woke me up a year ago, and I thank you for it, sir. The first thing I wanted to mention was that I'm blind, and I'm 21. I go to college. I'm a first-year college student, and I'm on the Social Security system and food stamp system, and I absolutely hate the fact that I am. And I try.
Well, listen, brother, people that are blind, that's what welfare is for. And it should be state-run. It should be the churches. They should have a job for you to do in some industry. Then people buy from that industry, and then you make even more money, and you're self-sufficient, and you're taught skills. Instead, it's a New World Order system that has taken over the welfare system. But listen, don't feel guilty about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, that's part of the reason why. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there that, take advantage of it and use the system and stuff like that, like, these legal immigrants and things like that. I'm in college to get off of it. I'm in college to join the free market and become a independent taxpayer and, do all the great things that you're talking about. And, I'm not as informed as I should be. Like I said, you woke me up a year ago. But I just wanted to throw that across you. And the other thing, too, I try to get your message out there, and people know that because I'm blind, I'm on the system. They don't take me seriously. They say, oh, well, you're on the system, And
well, look, a lot of people feel really insecure, and they want to feel intellectually superior, so they say, I read the New York Times, I watch MSNBC, like saying they have 45 PhDs or something. And like, wow, you read basically White House written propaganda. You watch publicly written White House teleprompter scripts. Man, you are smart. You watch a FBI informant race baiter, Al Sharpton race bait. Man, you're really intellectual. And then they'll look at somebody who's criticizing the system and say, yeah, but you're on welfare. The whole point is that you recognize it. It'd be like if you're an alcoholic and it's killing your liver, and you at least say, I'm an alcoholic, I need to quit drinking so much, hypothetically. That's the first step in trying to fix things. But I mean, look, listen, I had family. I had family that had worked in special operations, black ops, you name it. And they were all, boy, you're a smart young man. You better watch it, they'll kill you. So I'd hear that from them. But from the others, they would just say, you're nuts. I saw you on national TV. You're crazy. The government's not corrupt. None of those people laugh at me now. So it's very few folks that are in denial right now. They just will debate you about what the solution is. So I wouldn't feel bad when somebody calls you an idiot or somebody says you don't know what you're talking about. Move on. Just say, hey, I'm just concerned about the fact that we have an untenable debt because I am dependent on this. And again, it's just that conversation that will change the world.
And so, yeah, I continue to get your information out there, your word out there, despite what people say, despite how people may look at me. And because I'm on the system, I continue to get it out there, and I'm going to continue to get it out there.
Well, listen, I would quit just making an issue how you're on the system. The system is for people like you. That's what the general welfare clause is, not for people that don't have a real bona fide disability. And again, I'm all for a safety net. It's that the people running the safety net are running it as a fishnet to bring you in to politically eat you as a political commodity, not to protect you. It is a net, not a fence. And it's like the World Wide Web. I mean, it's just so draconian. But please, just get past the guilt complex. The corporate welfare is the problem. Warren Buffett running around saying raise taxes on poor people when he's tax exempt and he gets the biggest percentage per capita of anybody of taxpayer money. Oh, but he's Warren Buffett.
No, sir. Well,
listen, I'm going to let you go. I got to jump, brother. I thought you were gone. I'm going to go ahead and talk to Steve in Maine. Steve, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Yeah, okay. I don't have a problem with, helping people in need that are illegal here and fixing this mess we have. But my problem is I know for a fact in Maine that nobody can stay at a church at night in Maine. You can't even park a tent out in the yard. They'll close you down. So, and I know for a fact that immigrants are here and they're not here correctly, and I'm not sure how.
Yeah, and they're going to throw the book at you and treat you like crap because you follow the rules, and then they can suspend any rules they want, and if you don't give the illegal aliens all your money and everything you've got, then you're a terrorist. No, I get it. It's pure bull.
It's horrible, and I don't know why we're not, this is crazy what we're all.
Oh, and by the way, I can't go to China or Brazil or Mexico or South Africa and demand a bunch of free goodies. Only Western countries say we're bent over, everything's free, come in here and trample on our culture. Under political correctness, anything Western, anything anti-communist is bad. Anything, including Al-Qaeda, is good that's outside America. And if you dare say it's wrong to sexually mutilate women and put burqas on their heads, you're a bigot and a closed-minded person that isn't smart enough to read the New York Times. The New York Times that lied to us about yellow cake from Niger, Africa. The average lazy moron at the New York Times can't find Niger on a map. Just because they got a Harvard degree that they paid for and talk in a simpering chicken neck voice doesn't mean they know anything about history like people like me that live this. Anything else?
Yeah, in the death panel.
That was in the bill, but see, I knew how to read the bill. Now they admit the death panels, but at the time said it was a right-wing racist lie, but now they got death panels on our veterans.
Just on your veterans, because if I actually could afford to buy my health documents...
Sir, I'm not going to listen to a word from you until you learn to go... the situation in the metrics is quite understandable for a reasonable policy to help the people. Obama cares for the children. Your taxes are down. Obamacare is free. Everything is wonderful as long as you take the vaccines, sir. This is NPR, All Things Considered, brought to you by the Rockefeller Brothers Foundation. In Deutsch, from Florida, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, I'm a first-time caller. I wanted to ask you a question about the X2. I tried talking to my doctor about it, and he was clueless, like as you guys warned, and proceeded to tell me how he gives children fluoride pills and everything. So I can't really, consult my physician about that. But I'm not asking you for any medical advice.
Sure. What's your question? And I can pass it on because Dr. Group's doing a frequently asked questions article and a video. We keep meaning to get him up here to do it, to try to answer the frequently asked questions. So if I can't answer it, Dr. Group can. Go ahead.
I want to know what you have personally found worked for you at the X2. I've been taking it for 2 weeks. I love it now. How much do you take a day? How much do you find is working for you?
All right, well, I appreciate your call. Let me try to answer that. I personally take about 2 dropperfuls a day. I take about 2/3 of a dropper full in the morning, 2/3 of a dropper full at lunch, and then 2/3 of a dropper full at night. I'll be honest, some days I forget to take one of the dosages. Sometimes I forget altogether. That's my problem. When I remember to take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 organic, when I remember from InfoWarsHealth.com, when I remember to take the X2 of the Super Male Vitality, then I see the effects. And it's been that I'm working out pretty much less, eating the way I've always pretty much been eating, exercising and getting better results, just healthier. My skin's healthier. I get a better tan. My hair grows faster. I mean, all the things that the evidence shows having a healthy thyroid does. There's massive research. Excuse me. I was eating iceberg lettuce during the break, and I was also taking phone calls during the break. I tend to multitask around here. Speaking of unhealthy, it's not good to try to eat half of a wedge iceberg. That's my lunch with blue cheese during a 4-minute break. I try to eat during that 4-minute break because it's the longest break of the hour. The others are 3 minutes or 1 minute. But long story short, I cannot really do justice to what iodine has done for me. And if you just look at what iodine deficiency does to babies in utero, to your glands, to your body, you then know why the establishment puts fluorines and bromide and things in the halogen table that are bad in the food, in the water. I mean, it's in baking powder. It's in all sorts of stuff. It's in powdered eggs. It's in thousands of products. And it's extremely toxic. And you can type in fluoride extremely toxic or fluoride Harvard study, and it's not my opinion, it's a fact. But they created a social stigma around laughing at people that talk about it and call it a conspiracy theory. That's CIA 1963, declassified a few years ago, to call anybody that said JFK was murdered and was more than one shooter a conspiracy theorist. It's a stigma. Doesn't matter if there's a Harvard study. Doesn't matter if there's thousands of other studies. Doesn't matter if the type of fluoride they put in the water is a toxic waste derivative, because you do need calcium fluoride, a little bit of it. They just have a stigma. So iodine is the good halogen you need, and the government from the 20s into the 70s recommended it be put in salt. Potassium iodide, not even the good type, so that people wouldn't get all sorts of goiters and thyroid problems that was epidemic across North America. And by the 70s, they said, oh, okay, take it out of the salt now. And that was a type of kind of sneakily medicating people. But notice now they take that out and say, here's the fluoride. So there's your issue. X2 is our best seller, along with the original fluoride shield and original survival shield, and the purchases of it support the broadcast. Alex Jones here to break down some exciting developments in the area of research concerning supplemental iodine. It's nothing less than phenomenal. I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. And I used some of the mainline iodine supplements, and they upset my stomach, and I had some issues with it. Until I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group, who I was already interviewing as an expert on my radio show, and I began taking the product before he actually rolled it out. You now know it as Survival Shield True Nascent Iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals that are incredibly powerful that no one else has as a source for their iodine, from between 7,000 and 12,000 feet, literally drilled out of the ground. You put it on a hot plate, and it turns into the pure gas. No one else has 99.99% pure iodine. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. I was over 270 pounds. And with the iodine, exercise, and better diet, I have lost now more than 50 pounds total, and I'm continuing to lose the weight. I have more energy, my libido, all this crap came out of my skin. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating. This is trailblazing. And the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off Super Detox special at InfoWarsLife.com.